Now at 6, we're expecting extreme temps over 100 degrees over the next 2 days.
We'll have the latest on school cancellations, workers' rights, and cooling centers, all that coming up here in our 6 o'clock hour. All right, we have extreme temperatures on the way, schools taking precautions, and a few schools are closed for the day. All that coming up here in just a minute. Rodney, let's talk about those temperatures.
Yeah, triple digits. We don't do it very often in September, and quite frankly, we don't do it that often. Period, right? Any time of the summer. We did it back in July 3 times. Excessive heat warning from Longview down to Eugene. That's that bright color. The orange are heat advisories, and the gray, which does blanket underneath those other colors, including Portland, Salem, and Vancouver air quality alerts. Right now, it's mostly yellow dots on the map, which is moderate air quality, but there are concerns for rising levels of ozone in the lower levels. So if that tends to bother you, makes your eyes watery, be aware of that. It's hazy outside, but we do believe we'll wake up to a hazy, clear sky. Otherwise, 64 right now, 86 maybe warmer at noon, and then all the way up to 101, maybe 102, as we'll be under an excessive heat warning today for the triple-digit temperatures.
Rod, thank you. And with those extreme temperatures, schools are taking precautions.
So a few local schools are closed for the day altogether. Some plan to send students home early, and others say they're going to monitor the heat throughout the day and make decisions from there. Thomas Schultz joins us live right now from Chapman Elementary in Northwest Portland with more on this. Good morning there, Thomas.
Hey, good morning, guys. And yeah, one of those school districts, of course, monitoring this heat closely is Portland Public Schools. There's just 15 of 81 schools district-wide that have air conditioning. Now, overnight, district employees operated ventilation systems in those schools without AC, all in hopes of cooling them down. After-school activities are also canceled in schools without AC. Now, over in Beaverton, a recent bond measure provided funding to add central cooling in several buildings over the past few years. The only school in the third biggest district, Beaverton, without AC is West Tualatin View Elementary, which instead uses portable air conditioning units. Still, administrators are going to be watching closely there too to ensure that system doesn't fail.
We can bring in fans, we can bring in portable units, we can shift kids around in the school, but if it gets too hot, then we would have to consider early dismissal.
Early dismissal, and of course another big concern here is after school sports. Both districts will be following OSAA guidelines when it comes to those sports, which recommend stopping practice and games when the heat index reaches 105 degrees or higher. Now, of course, there are some other smaller districts taking increased measures as well. Oregon Trail out in Sandy decided they're going to close school completely today. Now, Estacada and Jervis, a couple other small districts, decided they're going to release students early. Guys.
Our Thomas Schultz reporting live for us this morning. Thank you, Thomas. So we now know that students might be heading home because of the heat, but what about those who work in triple-digit temperatures?
Ashley Grams is covering this story for us this morning. So Ashley, are Oregon employers required to provide heat protections for workers?
Good morning, and good question. Our Verified team looked to the Oregon Occupational Safety and Health Division, often called Oregon OSHA, for the answer, and found that yes, Oregon employers are required to provide heat protection, including access to shade, water, and breaks to cool down. There have always been safety measures in place for employees, but heat protection rules were updated soon after the heat dome of 2021. The regulations rely on heat index, which is a calculation of the humidity's impact on our body's ability to cool itself. The temporary rules required employers to provide access to shade and drinking water when the heat index hits 80. Now, when the heat index hits 90, additional rules come into play, requiring cool down breaks for at least 10 minutes every 2 hours. Employers also need to monitor for symptoms of heat illness. Now, about a year later in 2022, Oregon OSHA adopted a similar set of rules. Those are now in place permanently. At the time, then Governor Kate Brown called Oregon a national model when it comes to heat protection for all workers. Drew.
Ashley Grams, lots of great information there. We have some more right now involving cooling centers around the area. Multnomah County is opening up 2 cooling centers. They'll have them open today, maybe again tomorrow. They're located at Cook Plaza in Gresham and at the Portland Covenant Church on Northeast MLK Jr. Boulevard. Multnomah County Libraries in downtown Portland and Gresham also extending their hours today until 8 o'clock. Finally, Clackamas, Washington, and Clark counties also have cooling spaces available. Keep in mind, TriMet riders who are heading to or from a cooling center today do not have to pay.
All right, let's get to that top story again. Hot temperatures today, Rod.
Yeah, you know, keep in mind, we've been talking about how unusual it is to get up to 100 degrees in September. One reason why, if you go back to June, we basically have lost roughly 3 hours of sunlight since then. So not as many heating hours this time of the year, but the air mass itself absolutely will support 100-degree temperatures, so we'll see if we do it this afternoon. You can see it's hazy. We started to see the increasing haze from wildfire smoke thanks to a north to northeast wind flow yesterday, and we'll get that again today. In fact, it has prompted an air quality alert across our region. Air quality numbers are generally in the moderate range right now out the door. Notice we have 70s on the east side. That's signs that there is a bit of an east wind blowing to keep your temperatures up. Happy Valley, it's 73 at 1,000 feet out the door. Tiger, it's calm and 61, and it's calm and 58 degrees out in Hillsboro, 63 in Salem. Obviously, this is the most comfortable part of your day through mid-morning, so take advantage. 64 at the airport right now. We'll be 86, maybe 88 at noon today, and then up to 100 to 102 potentially. The record is 101, by the way, for today's date, and that is your forecast. Again, an excessive heat warning for triple-digit temperatures.
All right, Rod, thank you for that update. Let's get to our top national story this morning. The deadly shooting at a high school near Atlanta, Georgia. Officers say they've arrested a 14-year-old student who's accused of killing 4 people yesterday, 2 students and 2 teachers. We also know at least 9 other people were hurt. That 14-year-old suspect will be charged and tried as an adult. We'll bring you more on this coming up in just a few minutes.
Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris have agreed to rules for next week's presidential debate. The debate will take place next Tuesday and will be the first between the 2 candidates. Candidate microphones will be live only for the candidates whose turn it is to speak. That's the same format as the June debate between former President Trump and President Joe Biden. The 90-minute debate will be held without an audience in Philadelphia's National Constitution Center at 6 p.m. our time on ABC News.
Boeing Starliner spacecraft will attempt to return to Earth tomorrow without a crew on board. We've been following this story since June after the Starliner suffered multiple technical issues that left 2 astronauts stranded on the International Space Station. Engineers here on the ground have scrambled at this point to investigate the malfunctions. The astronauts, meanwhile, will hitch a ride back to Earth with a SpaceX crew, but that's not going to happen until February.